Is Brock Big Sexy Babcock here with Weazel News, and I'm standing here with Doctor. Could you introduce your lovely self?
I'm Dr. Luna Rivera.
And for those you don't know, Luna is a doctor here at the EMS Pillbox Hospital, where she looks after all you nice folk of Los Santos when you've done stupid shit like fucking reverse your car in a mine and get your ass kicked. Anyway, Doctor, how are you today?
I'm doing very well, and yourself?
I'm doing very, very well. I just want to say thank you very much for coming on Weazel News to speak to our lovely people who write in to help them with their medical problems. For those of you who do write in, we're not a fucking hospital. Don't be writing in your medical problems to us because we can't do this all the time. Doctors are fucking busy. Come into the fucking hospital. But for those of you who've done it already, we've picked out quite a few nice ones that we're going to read for you today. Weazel News. We answer your questions, no matter what they are. So, Doctor, whenever you're ready, I'll begin.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Great. So this one comes in from Cum King 69. He lives in Melbourne, Australia. And he says, Doctor, I've had a missile in my ass now for about 30 days. I'm not sure how I can remove the missile from my anus, as I'm afraid it will blow me up into smithereens and I will die a horrible death in front of everyone that I love and know. How can I get this missile out of my ass without completely blowing up?
Okay, really great question. First of all, I'm going to suggest you call the bomb squad. They'll help dismantle the explosives in the missile. And then at that point, you want to come into, well, it depends. If it has a flared base and it's not stuck all the way up there, then you could remove it. If it is stuck all the way up there and it doesn't have a flared base, then you're going to want to come into the hospital. We will have to remove it surgically.
He did include a picture, and I can confirm it was only about 45% in.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's fine to just remove. Once the bomb squad has seen it first, you want to make sure they dismantle the explosives, and then you can pull it out.
Okay, great. Thank you for your professionalism, Doctor. And for you, Cum King 69, don't be putting missiles in your ass. That's fucking stupid. Okay, next up. This one comes from Queen Laquifa, and it says, Brock, I have a glass eye. My girlfriend wants me to remove my glass eye so that she can make love to my ocular cavity. I'm not only unsure of how she will do this, but I am also worried about the health ramifications of her making love to my ocular cavity. What would you suggest? Well, Doctor, I'm going to pass it on to you. What do you think?
Okay, so just make sure you're using, I would say use a dental dam on this situation. If you don't have a dental dam, then what you can do is you can actually cut a condom. You want to rip the elastic off the bottom, cut it up the side, and then hold it open. This way you protect the area and keep yourself nice and safe.
Awesome. That is, honest to God, amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, so this one comes from Knights of Brian 420. And it says, how long can a hamster safely live in someone's asshole or anal cavity, whatever you prefer, Doctor?
No time at all. It wouldn't be safe for you or for the hamster.
Now, on that note, Doctor, I was part of a medical phenomenon where I did have a hamster live inside my anus for several years, Mr. Bubbles.
Oh, well, I haven't heard any studies on that.
Yeah, there was a doctor who did want to study me, but I didn't want anything to do with it out of respect for Mr. Bubbles. You know, I buried him. You know. Anyway, it turns out they pulled a skeleton out of my butthole, and the hamster had lived up there for about 4 to 5 years, easy, probably even longer. You know.
Oh wow, that's interesting. Yeah, no, I personally wouldn't recommend it because if the hamster was unhappy with the situation, they would claw their way through your bowel.
Got it. Got it. Okay, cool. Okay, so Knights of Brian 420. There is no concurrent studies that show how long a hamster can live up your ass. Though one did live up mine for a couple of years, so you got my personal approval to put up there for a couple of months anyway. Anyway, moving on.
But not mine.
But obviously not the doctors, of course. But you definitely have mine. Okay, so moving on. Church Burner 666 says, I play with my anal hemorrhoid called Lucifer. Does God judge me?
Well, I'm a doctor, not a pastor, so I can't really answer that one. You'd have to talk to a priest.
But from a medical point of view.
Well, from a medical point of view, God's judgment doesn't really. I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna pass because I feel like this is gonna get political real quick. And
That's okay.
Yeah, that's just a good old pass. You can just leave it at I'm not a pastor.
That's
Can
okay,
I ask
no
a
problem.
question, ma'am? What about the safety of just, naming your anal hemorrhoid Lucifer and then playing with it,
No, yeah, let me just ask that.
Someone should be doing?
So, Dr. Luna, what about in general just naming your hemorrhoid and playing with it? What would you say about that in a medical standpoint?
Well, naming it is fine. Playing with it, I mean, I would suggest if you're going to be playing with it, use a hemorrhoid cream. This way you just kind of, bring down the inflammation while you're up there.
Okay, so this one comes from Day Tripper Forever, and then it had like a big X on either side. And it says, so, I'm addicted to LSD. I heard the best way to consume it is by placing it under the foreskin. How absorbative is the penis head? And should I just keep putting it under my eyelid and injecting it directly into my throat?
Well, as a doctor, I'm not going to recommend you take any illegal substances at all in any way.
Obviously, yeah, of course. But, I mean, you're helping people out here who are too afraid to come to doctors about this question. So, what would you say in terms of doing it safely? No one would hate you for that, doctor.
In terms of doing it safely, I wouldn't recommend putting it anywhere in the body other than I don't want to recommend putting it in the body at all because it is a toxic substance. It doesn't really it's not good for you at all.
So don't put on your foreskin, don't put on your eyelid, and don't inject it directly into your throat while looking your family in the eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are all bad things to do, yeah.
Because this actually did include a picture of the guy with he had his face blurred, but he was like, I could see through the blur that he was looking directly at the camera, looking really angry as he was injecting the needle directly into his Adam's apple. And that's just not cool.
Yeah, don't do that.
Okay, and this one's from myself. You can pass on this one if you want. It's just a nice, friendly question for all of us to get to know each other a little bit better. Have you ever tried to make a flesh sex robot out of the people that die here?
No, not. I didn't even consider that as a thing to do.
And what would be your general opinion on doing that? Is it even medically possible?
Well, it's highly illegal.
Oh, it's illegal. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's considered desecration of corpse.
Wow. And what kind of time? And I'm asking for a friend, obviously. What kind of time and what kind of fine would you get for something like that?
I don't know, but I'm sure it's in the public records at the courthouse.
Is it actually illegal to own human flesh?
I believe so, yes.
Wow, I did not know that. I will tell my friend to not do that. People of Los Santos, do not make flesh sex robots out of the deceased. It's disrespectful, and you will go to prison for it. Dr. Luna says it's not really that okay, alright? Anyway, moving on. We got one last question for you. This one actually comes from our cameraman Terry, who's a sweetheart, And he says, do you have any advice for the sexual deviants of Los Santos? I hate myself.
Well, that depends on the type of sexual deviance. We don't have to go into it on camera.
No, of course not.
It was Terry's, but just try and stay safe, sane, and consensual.
Safe, sane, and consensual. Remember, consent is sexy, Los Santos. That's what really matters. Well, Doctor, do you have any questions you'd like to ask us or the people of Los Santos before I close this segment off? Which, by the way, you have been the height of professionalism and the height of sexiness. And I honestly say, if all doctors were like you, the world would be a much greener place. Anything you'd like to ask?
No, just something I'd like to tell everybody. Like I said before, my name's Dr. Luna Rivera. I like to tell everybody that comes in here that I'm not a snitch, so if you come in here with suspicious wounds, I'd rather you tell me what happens and I can help you out properly than you lie to me and I don't fix you up properly. As well as my number's always in the yellow pages if I'm ever on duty. If you have any personal questions like the ones mentioned here or different ones, you can always give me a call or send me a text message and I can answer them.
Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely amazing. You know what that is? That is substance over style, which normally I would never agree with, but in this particular situation, I think we can all agree it's probably better to have a doctor that values substance over style. Just not substance over sexiness, obviously. Anyway, this is Brock Big Sexy Babcock signing off here with Weazel News. You stay sexy, Terry. You stay sexy, Luna. And Los Santos, you also stay sexy.
Yes, sir, I
Brock
understand.
signing off with Weazel News. I love you, Los Santos. Weazel News. We answer your questions, no matter what they are.